right, enough Manchester Derby. Let's talk AFCON. We have new champions. It's Senegal.
Yeah.
You might have heard a little bit about this. There is a ton to unpack.
Yeah.
But first of all, I just want to focus on the football side. If we can, let's remove the disallowed goal, the Brahim Diaz penalty, the walk off the pitch for a minute, and just focus on the football of what we saw on the pitch. I'm going to right out and say it. I think Senegal outplayed Morocco.
Mm-hmm.
But Yassine Bounou made some huge saves. There were chances on either side, but
Yeah.
deserving winners just from the football side. Take everything else out.
In the final, in the whole tournament, Senegal are the best team in Africa right now. It's their second AFCON in 4 years. They won in 2021. They've had another final. They're just the best team. They have the most depth. They have the best squad.
Well, you
And
talk
even-
as if it was obvious, but going into the tournament, Morocco
sure,
were heavy
they were
favorites.
among because it was in Morocco, and Morocco are the highest ranked team in the FIFA rankings. They've just went to the semi-final of the last World Cup. So, but we knew that Senegal were amongst the best, if not the best already, even if they were not the biggest favorite. And they showed that how solid they were, how good they were with the ball, how key their star players from Gay to the two Gays, to Mane, to young Mbaye, for example, just outstanding.
All right, let's go now to the incidents for which this is going to be remembered. People will focus on the walk-off. I want to start with Ismaila Sarr's disallowed goal.
That's where it starts. Because without that, they don't walk off.
Okay, so in the context to this, Morocco closely aligned with FIFA. They're getting the 2030 World Cup. There were complaints from Cameroon and Nigeria, who Morocco beat in the quarterfinals and semifinals on penalties. So this was the context. So there's already, and we always get this in tournaments, right? There's always conspiracy. They're favoring the host nation, blah, blah. This happens everywhere in the world.
Yeah.
This goal gets disallowed because the referee sees a foul on Achraf Hakimi.
Yeah, second Hakimi.
Abdoulaye Seka on Hakimi. He blows the whistle straight away.
Yeah.
The ball then goes into the net. Because he blew the whistle straight away, VAR can't review it.
Yeah.
And you and I know this. We've seen incidents of this.
Everywhere.
I think a lot of people watching are like, what the hell? That was never a foul on Hakimi. Why wasn't this called? Now, obviously, I don't believe the referee knew the ball was going to go into the net.
No, it definitely didn't.
I just think it was bad officiating.
Yeah.
Let the play unfold, right?
Yeah, completely.
We're on the same page with that one.
But then you understand why the Senegalese felt really frustrated
Absolutely.
and done by that call.
Furious with the referee. It almost seemed like a preemptive foul call, right?
Yeah.
The second incident, of course, the ball comes into the box off a corner kick. It's Malik Diouf and Brahim Diaz. Brahim Diaz goes down. Malik Diouf's holding him, whether he throws him to the ground or not entirely clear, but his arms are up. That to me is something that, for me, that should be a penalty.
Yeah, I think
if you haven't been calling it the whole game, though, I can understand why you start calling in the 7th minute of injury time. That's a problem.
Yeah, exactly. But it's a foul from Diouf on Diaz, grabbing his neck and kind of pulling back. Even if it's a little bit soft, sure, but you should not do that. And I think Diouf's reaction says it all anyway. He realized the mistake that he's made. Diaz was calling for the VAR to review it, calling for the penalty. It got reviewed. He got the penalty. And then obviously hell unfolded.
Yes. After that, obviously a lot of protests, very unruly. And then almost all the Senegal players, Sadio Mane stayed. And by the way, we're watching this game on television. Hey, newsflash, I wasn't in Rabat. I'm told that it wasn't the only Senegal player who stayed out there.
Yeah, there were 3 of them, I think. I think even Edouard Mendy stayed.
The camera's obviously on.
And you see Pape, the head coach, saying, come on, let's go back in. All
right, we've seen this before, taking players off the pitch. Actually, you weren't even born, though, the last time it happened in international competition, in men's competition. I think it happened with the women at the World Cup, if I'm not mistaken, a couple World Cups ago. But I'm thinking about France against Kuwait in 1982.
I was born, but I was very...
You don't remember the game.
I've seen it on television. But yeah, something similar.
So it's not unprecedented. It's obviously, I mean, with hindsight, you can see the frustration, but you cannot do that. And by the rules, if you do that, you forfeit the game.
Yeah, forfeit. I think they would have had a World Cup ban too. It's just not acceptable for a team because they were not happy with the referee, which we've always been. All of us have been at some point, at every level, part of that, having that feeling, but it's not a reason to take your team off. Maybe it was a bit of mind games to put Brahim Diaz off. I think there was 18 minutes break. He took his penalty in the 90th plus 24.
Yeah, like if it's mind games, they're stupid mind games because the referee at any point can call an end to the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know why the
or he
referee
can
was
book everybody for leaving the field of play. Or there's many things he can do.
But there's no doubt that this obviously was, I think, a difficult time for Brahim Diaz to wait and get the ball. Then there was more weight as he put the ball on the spot. Mendy, Mane, the referee, all of that. And I mean, he looked stressed from the first second when he was about to think about taking that penalty anyway.
And then he takes one of the worst Panenka.
I mean, why a Panenka at that time anyway? Unless you think you're Zidane, but you're not.
Or Totti against Australia.
Yeah, not really the same than Zidane's World Cup final. But yeah, I don't know. But to try it and to have such a bad attempt at it is
Can we rule this out as conspiracy theorists? He missed on purpose. No, he did not.
No,
and that is not his weaker foot. And then after that, it's almost as if Senegal are galvanized by it, and they really take over, and they score a tremendous goal.
Yeah, amazing. Abgay.
And then they miss what would have been a goal for 2-0. When he missed that, I said, all right, karma, something's going to happen at the other end. They're going to equalize. So in the end, I think football-wise, worthy winners. Do their actions make them unworthy winners? Should they be stripped of the cup? That is a much broader question. They certainly were fighting with fire. Jules, obviously the walk-off is the big story here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think there's a couple things to unpack. One is, if the players had remonstrated, shouted, caused a brawl at the end, had a guy sent off, whatever, then I think people would have been more okay with it than walking off. Walking off.
Yeah.
I think Senegal just really, in my view, they did something almost unprecedented, and that just makes you look foolish, and that is exceptionally risky.
Yeah, and it's a bad look on you, obviously, on your team, on your country. It's a bad look for African football in general, I think.
I don't know if it's African football in general. It's not like it's a bad look on Nigeria, Morocco, or whatever. No,
but I didn't mention country. It's just the final of your continental competition. So this is it, and...
Yeah, but it's not Senegal's responsibility to worry about that. Senegal's responsibility.
No, I'm not saying it's their responsibility, but it's just a terrible look. It's the AFCON final. The whole world is watching, and this is what's happening. It could have been 2 other African countries. It doesn't matter. It's not about just Senegal. It's just this is the bad look. We never see this in no finals ever, and then this happens. And forever, this will be remembered. Do you remember the AFCON final that descended into chaos? Yeah, because the Senegalese players walked off.
I know that's how people think. I don't think that's how people should think.
That's what Raggi said after the game, and I think he's completely right.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I can understand he's upset, but I think it's a bit of a kind of a trite cliche. I think we should move beyond that. If it's a bad look for Senegal and for Pape Thiaw.
Yeah.
He's the one who called him.
And
I would assume too, Pape Thiaw was probably maybe in contact with somebody from the federation or something who said take them off.
We saw Hadji Diouf very close talking to Mane, being on the phone. I wonder if Diouf was on the phone.
Does he ever roll? I saw that too. Does he ever roll with a team, or is he just like a super fan?
He seemed to have like the accreditation that like members, like team staff members seem to have, or federations or something like that. So maybe
I don't know if I'd go for Al Hadji for life advice.
No, unless he's in contact with
of course. And the guy's taking like
the sports minister.
There has to be an investigation. There has to be Sadio Mane, I would assume, he stayed out there. He understood the situation. The bottom line is, after a certain amount of time, and we don't know what it is. It's not in the laws of the game. Different tournaments have their own directives. But if you take the players off the pitch, you forfeit the game. That's I think in every sport, that is a basic rule.
Yeah, completely. Yeah.
So the obvious question is, should the referee have said, all right, you guys are off the pitch for more than a minute for no reason?
Yeah, that's
some kind of protest.
Is there a time limit?
Game's over.
Yeah,
Game's over. You lose.
I was wondering, as we said earlier,
is this what the referee should have done?
I don't know. I don't know if there's a rule like that. If there's a time limit. If it's 10 minutes.
There definitely is. The referee can award.
Yeah. I don't know what he was waiting for. Was he waiting for them to come back? Because as we said, it was a break of 18 minutes.
I think he was waiting for a word in his ear from CAF, and I think this is another thing. A referee in a final ideally should feel empowered to make this decision. But on a human level, he's like, I can't take responsibility for this on my own.
Yeah.
I think I I imagine he was in contact or maybe waiting. And I think this is where CAF, you don't want people stepping in, but where the CAF had a referees or whatever saying like, listen, this is what the rules say. It's your call. We will back you no matter what you. If you want to, if you want them to forfeit the game, you have the right to do that. Maybe he was worried because he knew he had made a bad call. Maybe he did. Maybe he knew. Maybe word got to him that he had blown the two earlier calls. I don't know.
That's the thing. We don't know.
Refereeing is very difficult.
The fact that I know we don't.
And he had a bad game.
I know. But so we don't know. But he waited 18 minutes, doing nothing until the Senegalese players came back. Not because he asked them to, because Sadio Mane.
I think it was quite 18 minutes because I think the penalty was in the incident was in the 7th minute of injury time. So I think it was closer. And then the players. I think again I haven't timed it, but
so in L'Equipe newspaper. So if you just let me talk, in L'Equipe newspaper, they say 18 minutes. The penalty was taken in 90th plus 24. Even if you take off the 17 that were played until the call was made and they walked off, it's still a long time for the referee to be there on the pitch and do nothing. So I don't know why he was waiting. Not sure what happened there. In the end, they came back to see Brahim Diaz misses the penalty when I think everybody was waiting. That's the penalty. He's going to score. They're going to win. And Morocco were ready to celebrate. It's just an incredible. I don't think Brahim Diaz ever recovered from this. I don't think he recovers from this. I don't know how you can, because this, I think, scars you for your whole career, really.
Well, he have another chance at the World Cup to go and do something special. So the thing about football is there's often, unless you're Zidane in a World Cup final, there's often another game where you can try to repair things. I'm sure he's had his setbacks as a footballer. It's going to be very difficult. But
I mean, he was player of the tournament, received this trophy when the whole stadium had left, obviously, very quickly, but he was still booed and insulted by his own fans, the few that stayed in. What a nightmare for him.
And you wonder, too, if he's going to want to play for Morocco again. That's because obviously Brahim Diaz, Spanish, half Moroccan. Probably would have played for Spain if they'd called him up.
Well, he has one cap for Spain.
Oh, that's right. In the friendly. So, what action should be taken? And then forget the rules. Let's put the rules to one side, okay? Because there's a lot of things in an investigation. But just in terms of what seems fair now, what to you seems fair as punishment for Senegal?
I think it's a fine, probably, and a couple of games behind closed doors in the next AFCON qualifiers now, because that's the next thing they will play, because obviously the World Cup is all settled. I can't see anything else. You can't take away the trophy, obviously.
You can't.
So
you don't think there's a basis to do that?
No, I don't think so.
It seems extraordinary. I generally don't know what's going to happen. Morocco, as we were talking about off air, a really powerful country in the FIFA sphere, and I think within CAF too, because they're bringing money. They're putting a lot of money into the game.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if I were Moroccan, if I would want the AFCON to be awarded to me, not based on what I did, but based on the fact that the opposition, did something bad.
And you had the chance to win it with that penalty. Anyway.
And of course, I had the chance to win it with my penalty. We can also ask, why was Brahim Diaz giving me, there's a lot of second guessing we can do.
Completely.
But all that said, it feels a little bit wrong that you could win it. And then one thing for me that saves it for Senegal is that if we strip the nonsense incidents aside and you just look at the football, they were the better team in the final against the best team in Africa. The thing is, if you don't punish in a way Senegal, and ethically this was not the right thing to do from them to walk off and threaten not to start the game again. But then the next team at the World Cup, or the next AFCON, or the Euros, the Copa America, whatever, we think, you know what? This is not a penalty. This is a referee's mistake. We're getting done here, because that's exactly what you could read on their lips. They were saying we got robbed here. They cheat. We got robbed. And that was the build-up, because they said we're getting cheated, just like Cameroon were cheated, just like Nigeria were supposedly cheated. Yeah.
So then everybody does the same. Right. And the next time you do, let's do the same, and let's see if they score the penalty after 15 or 20 minutes where we in the dressing room.
I guarantee you 1,000% that our old friend Pierluigi Collina is going to come out and say, hey, you walk off the pitch, you take your team off the pitch for anything other than racist incidents, you forfeit the game.
Forfeit the game.
That's what the rules say. He might tell us that, hey, look, in World Cup, it's going to be, you guys are off the pitch. If your entire team is off the pitch for more than 30 seconds or whatever it is, game's over.
Yeah.
No ifs, ands, or buts.
Yeah.
And I think you have to do that.
Yeah.
And again, this
Could- like you
referee
said,
had the
it could be a
power to do
precedent.
that,
Yeah.
and he chose not to.